Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back at today with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I got the Week 13 running back rankings. Now, before I get into running backs 1 all the way until 32, I'd like to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play daily fantasy football. Now, Overlay now also offers NBA and also NBA/NFL games. So if you guys are into the NBA as well, obviously you can come play that. But I'm talking about NFL here today. Now, it is a very simple game, but I'm going to be talking about how it works first. Now, there's 10 max lineups, which obviously gives you more chances to win, but also doesn't let those sharps, those computer-generated programs to dominate in those games, have like 100 plus entries. Now, the $20 progressive game is definitely the game to play for football. It is $22. Obviously, if you're top 10%, you get 9 times your buy-in. But if you hit that beautiful 12-0, that progressive bonus, you get over $8,700, and it's still going to be rising all the way until Sunday. So you guys got to make sure you check that out. Now, the game is different every single week. Never know what the matchups will be posted. It's pretty much you versus the board. You only need to worry about 2 records, yours and the payoff cut. Now, there's also head-to-head contests that are 10 pick rate, and it's amazingly small, and bad records win all the time. The more people who enter, the bigger the jackpot is going to be. Now, I'm going to show you guys here real quick a strategy that I like to use. Now, when you're playing the game, you need to make 12 picks plus 2 alternate picks to obviously help if someone gets hurt or something, then you can use one of those alternate picks. Now, one of my favorite strategies to do here is select a quarterback and their wide receiver. So I would go with my main man, Philip Rivers, here over Daniel Jones, and then scroll down here, scroll a bit down until I find my friend Keenan Allen, and then take him and go with the quarterback and wide receiver stack. That's something I found out. It helps me do better on Overlay DFS. So make sure you check out OverlayDFS.com, link down below in the description. Come and play with me. Let's have a great week this week on OverlayDFS.com. And we are back. Make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com, link down below in the description. Let's get right into it. Week 13 running back rankings. Now, these rankings are based off of the PPR format. Now, my number 1 running back, as you could guess, is Christian McCaffrey. Run CMC has been absolutely eviscerating defenses all season. He has only had really 1 bad game thus far this season. He scored like 8 points, so you could have still won the game. Every other game has been 20 or 30 plus fucking points. He has been eviscerating defenses. He's been making defenses look silly. And this week up against the Washington Redskins, a absolutely washed up defense, a god awful defense. I see no reason why Christian McCaffrey can't put 2 touchdowns. Not 1, but not 2. Maybe 3 touchdowns straight in Washington's mouth. I love Christian McCaffrey this week going against the Washington Redskins. Coming in at number 2, we have Dalvin Cook going against the Seattle Seahawks. And boy, if I was listening to this video, I would be very surprised in the offseason if Dalvin Cook made it this far, but that injury-prone motherfucker made it all the way to week 13. And this week going against the Seattle Seahawks, a team you can certainly run on. I think that Dalvin Cook will be able to perform heavily in this game. Kirk Cousins is going to be screaming, "You like that?" after he hands the ball to Dalvin Cook about 9,000 times in this game. Dalvin Cook is the centerpiece of this offense, whether you want to believe it or not. Dalvin Cook is going to be able to eat against the Seattle Seahawks this week, coming in at number 2. Coming in at number 3, we got peg leg Saquon Barkley going against the Green Bay Packers. Now, Saquon Barkley has honestly been a bust this season, whether you like to think that or not. He honestly he's missed a bunch of games. He has been playing like shit recently, but at the end of the day, his talent is unreal. And going up against the Green Bay Packers, I really think that Saquon Barkley could have a pretty good game. I think that they're going to rely on him if they want to try to win this game to run the ball a lot more. And they have also been trying to hand the ball off to Saquon more, trying to dump the ball off more, and it just hasn't been as effective as it has been in the past, so that does worry me. But at the end of the day, Saquon Barkley has so much skill that I think that he will be able to perform against the Green Bay Packers. Coming in at number 4, we have Le'Veon Bell going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. And as we all know, the Cincinnati Bengals defense is fucking atrocious. Anyone could run behind a line and skull fuck the Cincinnati Bengals defense. You could put me in, you could put your mother in, you could put your grandmother in, you could put anyone in there, and they'd be able to run all over the Cincinnati Bengals. I think that Le'Veon Bell does the same thing. Mono Boy Sam loves dumping the ball off to Lev Bell, so I like him in this game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Coming in at number 5, we have Derrick Henry, running back of the Tennessee Titans, going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I foresee this game in my crystal ball. I can see it, and I can see the future, and I can see Derrick Henry running an absolute train on the Indianapolis Colts, a game that is going to be very run-heavy at the hands of Derrick Henry and Jonathan Williams. I really believe that Derrick Henry will be able to shine and perform in this game just like he did against the Jacksonville Jaguars when he was stiff-arming bitches straight into the dirt last Sunday. Coming in at number 6, we have Josh Jacobs going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I know, Josh Jacobs shit the bed last week against an easy matchup against the New York Football Jets, but in this game against the Kansas City Chiefs, a defense that could not stop the run, they cannot stop the pass, they cannot stop shit, and Josh Jacobs is going to be able to run all over them, guys. I really believe that they're going to get back to their old ways and hand the rock to Josh Jacobs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 1,000 goddamn fucking times. I'm not going to count for you guys, but he's going to get the ball probably 20 plus times in this game, and against the Kansas City Chiefs, that is going to do wonders for his fantasy stats. So I really like him this week at Kansas City. Knock one time if you're with me. Go Raiders! Coming in at number 7, we have Big Dick Nick Chubb going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Nick Chubb is going to have a full Chubb in this game going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe this game is going to be a smashing like into Mason Rudolph's head. I love Nick Chubb in this game. Nick Chubb did wonders for you last week. He's going to do wonders for you this week as well. Obviously, we know Kareem Hunt is taking up a lot of those pass catching opportunities, but even with that said, Nick Chubb is getting a shit load of touches, and as we know, volume is king in fantasy football, and Nick Chubb is being the king of volume over there in Cleveland, so I believe that Nick Chubb will be able to perform quite well against the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, coming in at number 7. Now we get to number 8, Mr. Leonard or Leonard Fournette going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do have quite the tough defense, but as we know, Leonard Fournette can catch the ball out of the backfield, but the main thing with them being ranked so high is the fact that I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, and I think that Leonard Fournette gets enough touches where even facing up against a tough defense doesn't really worry me because he gets so much volume. He's going to see like 20 plus touches in this game, so I really believe that the amount of touches will outweigh the fact that he's playing up against such a tough defense. Coming in at number 9, we have Aaron Jones going up against the New York Football Giants. Now, we know this Giants defense is eviscerated, but we saw last week Aaron Jones absolutely shit the bed because he just did not get enough touches. Mr. Matt LaFleur gave a lot of touches to Jamal Williams because they were down and out for the count 1, 2, 3. They were fucking knocked out, tapped out, or whatever they do. They pinned him like in fucking WWE, and Aaron Jones was dead on the ground. But in this game against the New York Football Giants, they're obviously going to be up, so they're going to be running the ball a lot more, and that obviously paves the way for Aaron Jones to have a big game this week against the New York Football Giants. Coming in at number 10, we have big man Melvin Gordon going up against the Denver Broncos. Now, we have seen Melvin Gordon the last couple of weeks, ever since they fired their their offensive coordinator, I should say. Melvin Gordon has been getting a shit ton of touches, and I believe in this game against the Denver Broncos, a team you could definitely score points on. I think that Melvin Gordon will have a flourishing game against the Denver Broncos, so I got him coming in at number 10. Coming in at number 11, we have old man Todd Gurley going against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, he might not actually be that old, but having that knee arthritis has certainly fucked him over a lot in this season. But going against the Arizona Cardinals, he's going to be able to easily run on them. We saw last week up against the Baltimore Ravens him have a very hard time even getting a decent amount of touches, just not being able to do anything with it. And also, they were so out of the game that they just couldn't run the ball past the second quarter in the second half of the game. So in this game against the Arizona Cardinals, they may be running the ball out a majority of the game in the third and fourth quarter. So I think that Todd Gurley will be able to have a much better game this week against the Arizona Cardinals. And also, they just have a much worse defense. Coming in at number 12, we have my main man, Joe Mixon, going against the New York Jets. Now, big man Andy Dalton, the Jinja Ninja, is coming back this week, facing up against the Jets. And I believe that this team is still going to commit to the run. They love Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon has been performing quite well the last couple of games, but before that, he was getting like 4 fucking points and just shit in the bed when Andy Dalton was the starter. So that obviously does worry me. But at the end of the day, I like Joe Mixon up against this New York Football Jets defense, since they've been giving Joe Mixon so many touches in the last couple of games. Now on to 13 through 24. If you guys have enjoyed thus far, please make sure to knock one time and click on that subscribe button down below. Coming in at number 13, we have Mark Ingram going against the San Francisco 49ers. We saw last week Mark Ingram absolutely destroy the LA Rams defense. Now, obviously, this week he's playing up against a much tougher opponent in the San Francisco 49ers. But as you guys may know, I predict that the Baltimore Ravens actually go and fuck up the San Francisco 49ers. And I really think that Mark Ingram will be heavily involved in this game. We saw Mark Ingram toss and turn all over that LA Rams defense. I think he could do the same thing to San Francisco. Coming in at number 14, we have the pass catching back of the Denver Broncos, Mr. Philip Lindsay, going up against the LA Chargers. Now, this week, Drew Lock is going to get the go-ahead to start in the game. So I think that Philip Lindsay is actually going to see a huge uptick in usage. You see those rookies, you see those young type of guys really rely on those dump-off passes, whether to be to Noah Fant or Philip Lindsay. I think that both of those guys may have a big game this week. And against the LA Chargers, a team that's defense is just completely decimated, I really like Philip Lindsay this week. Coming in at number 15, we have big man Jonathan Williams going up against the Tennessee Titans. Now, obviously, the Indianapolis Colts have lost Marlon Mack for the next couple of games. And Jonathan Williams has been filling his shoes quite well. 2 100-yard games in a row, even a 100-yard game in a game that Marlon Mack played a half of. I really like Jonathan Williams this week against the Tennessee Titans in a game that I predict will be very run-heavy. Even though Jonathan Williams does not get that many pass-catching opportunities, you've seen him catch balls in the past, and he could definitely catch the ball. But obviously, they're going to use Naheem Hines for that. But at the end of the day, I think Jonathan Williams performs enough on the ground to warrant a start against the Tennessee Titans. Coming in at number 16, we have Chris Carson go up against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, with Chris Carson, it gets a bit confusing. Do you really want to start a guy who's got his touches stolen by Rashad Penny? Yeah, because at the end of the day, he is going to still be the starter on the team. Pete Carroll still is going to be chewing his gum be like, damn, you know what? Chris Carson is still the starter on my team, man? And that's what he's going to do. Chris Carson that was not a good Pete Carroll impression, but Chris Carson is going to end up being the starter against the Minnesota Vikings. And you always want to start your studs. And Chris Carson, at the end of the day, is a stud. And going up against the Minnesota Vikings team that's not a super tough defense, I still think that Chris Carson will be able to get it done on the ground and through the air. Coming in at number 17, we have Austin Ekeler going up against the Denver Broncos. Now, like I said, I believe that Austin Ekeler and Melvin Gordon can both just exist hand in hand. Obviously, Melvin Gordon is going to be the better start due to the fact that he gets a lot more opportunities to touch the ball. But we saw in Mexico, Austin Ekeler getting a lot of looks. And even when the game was on the line, Austin Ekeler got the final look. Philip Rivers heaved him the ball, and Austin Ekeler tried to bring it down. At the end of the day, I believe that Austin Ekeler will be able to perform this week at the Denver Broncos and warrant being a top 18 type of guy. Coming in at number 18, we have Miles Sanders going up against the Miami Dolphins. Now, the thing with Miles Sanders is once Jordan Howard is officially ruled out, Miles Sanders is going to be much better, and that's why his ranking is here, because I believe Jordan Howard will not get the start. Obviously, against a terrible Miami Dolphins defense, this bodes well for Miles Sanders. I think that Miles Sanders will be able to have quite the good game, even if Jordan Howard plays. But obviously, if Jordan Howard is out, he's going to be seeing a lot more touches and a lot more work in the passing game. Obviously, he's much more of a pass-catching back, so getting a lot of touches on the ground is going to obviously make him play a lot better and score a lot more fantasy points. Coming in at number 19, we have the starter in Arizona, Kenyon Drake, going against the LA Rams. Now, I know, you drafted David Johnson early, and so did I, and he has broken my heart. I feel like the fucking Grinch. I'm pissed off now that it's near Christmas because David Johnson has touched me in my no-no square, but at the end of the day, you have to pivot, and Kenyon Drake being the number one back on the team, he is going to see a lot of touches. We saw Mark Ingram torch this LA Rams defense last week, and I believe that Kenyon Drake has the skill set to do the exact same thing, and that is why I got him as an RB2 this week, coming in at number 19. Coming in at number 20, we have Tevin Coleman going against the Baltimore Ravens, and Tevin Coleman he looked so beautiful. He was looking great, and then he started to shit the bed, and a couple of weeks in a row, he's been shitting the bed, and this week against the Baltimore Ravens, I just do not trust him, okay, guys? He's coming in at number 20 because he has an opportunity to be in a high-scoring game, a game that would obviously bode well for Tevin Coleman because they're going to be passing the rock. Now, the problem is I think that he just really isn't getting too involved in the team, so that's why he's ranked at number 20. Obviously, I'm still starting him. I'm still firing him up, but I would be a bit worried. Coming in at number 21, we have Ronald Jones going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, obviously, every single week in Bruce Arians' town, Tampa Bay, you just never know what the fuck's going to happen. One day, it's Peyton Barber, and the next week, it's Ronald Jones, and the next week, it's Dare Agabuduge, and we saw last week, it was a fucking offensive lineman who scored a goddamn touchdown, so I don't know what to do with Ronald Jones. You're going to fire him up, you're going to hope that he's the starter that Bruce Arians proclaims he is, and against the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think he could get it done if he is definitely that starter. Coming in at number 22, we have Mr. Goose Egg, James White, coming in from last week, scoring a goose egg this week against the Houston Texans. in a game where the weather is not going to be a torrential downpour. I think that James White could definitely perform in this game, and I like him this week against the Houston Texans in Houston. Obviously, you have to worry about the fact that he wasn't so involved last week, but at the end of the day, I think he will be all good. I like him this week in Houston. Coming in at number 23, we got Kareem Hunt going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, obviously, Kareem Hunt is going to be much more of a PPR option. He's clearly just a fucking receiver on the team who comes at the running back position. He's really not getting too many touches on the ground. He's getting a lot of receptions through the air, and he's getting a lot of snaps where he's out there playing as a wide receiver along with Odell and Jarvis Landry. So obviously, I like Kareem Hunt for that. But obviously, Nick Chubb getting so many of the touches definitely hurts Kareem Hunt's value. But at the end of the day, going against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team they can certainly beat, a team that they can put some points on. I like Kareem Hunt at number 23. Coming in at 24, we have Benny Snell. Now, last week, obviously, I thought it was going to be the Jalen Samuels show. I thought it was going to be beautiful. I foresaw it in my crystal ball. I rubbed the crystal ball, and it told me that Jalen Samuels was going to do good. And you know what Jalen Samuels did? He had to put on his Huggies because he shit the bed for ya. Last week, Benny Snell absolutely performed out of his socks, scoring about 10 points, rushing for almost 100 yards. And Benny Snell played quite well. So this game against the Cleveland Browns, I would see no reason not to rank him inside the top 24 with James Conner being out. Obviously, the Cleveland Browns defense is a bit tough, but missing Myles Garrett is obviously something that is going to hurt them. And Benny Snell might be able to ball out like he did last week. Coming in at number 25, we've made it all the way from 25 through 32. So if you guys have made it thus far, I assume you enjoyed the video. If you haven't made it this far, then obviously you're not fucking hearing this, but it's okay. I love you regardless. Thank you guys for watching this far, and please make sure to click that subscribe button if you have enjoyed thus far. Coming in at number 25, we have Carlos Hyde going against the New England Patriots. Now, Carlos Hyde has honestly been performing a lot better than I thought he would be the last couple of games. Obviously, he's a guy that's never going to score you 20 points, and going up against the New England Patriots would obviously lower the amount of points he could score, but I still think at the end of the day, he'll be okay and be a guy you can start, not be punching yourself Sunday night when you ended up taking that L because someone else shit the bed for you. Coming in at number 26, we have Sony Michel going up against the Houston Texans. Now, at the end of the day, I don't really like Sony Michel that much in this game because I think that is going to be a much more pass-heavy attack with James White getting the ball a lot more. But I thought the same thing last week, and Sony Michel was seeing a lot of the touches. So you could do a lot worse than Sony Michel, but I certainly don't love him going up against the Texans in Houston. Coming in at number 27, we have Jamal Williams going up against the New York Giants. Now, actually, this is a game where Jamal takes a seat down for me where I don't like him as much. Obviously, because they are going to be able to run the ball a lot more, and Jamal Williams is much more of a pass-catching back. But Matt LaFleur loves to roll the dice and throw them both out there so much that I think Jamal Williams definitely warrants being a guy in the top 32 going up against the New York Football Giants. I actually like him a decent amount. Coming in at number 28, we have Darius Geis going against the Carolina Panthers. Now, at the end of the day, Darius Geis last week shit the bed for you. The week before, he balled out when I told you to bench him. Last week, I told you to start him, and he shit the bed. So he's going to be very inconsistent this year, just like the whole Washington Redskins team. So he's ranked this low. I think he does get a lot of pass catching opportunities on the team, but I am worried about the fact that the Washington Redskins suck so bad. That's why he's coming in at number 28. And the fact that they still use AP a decent amount in Washington. Coming in at number 29, we have Rashad Penny going against the Minnesota Vikings. And like I said, I wouldn't worry too much if you're a Chris Carson owner that Rashad Penny is going to take too many of the touches, but if he ends up doing it, he could definitely find his way into the top 32 and getting maybe he gets 10 touches in this game, and that would definitely warrant him being a top 32 guy this week, especially since 6 teams are already gone off the rankings because they played on Thanksgiving. Coming in at number 30, we have Duke Johnson go up against the New England Patriots, and Duke Johnson is like fucking gambling on slots. You just roll, you just fucking hit the thing and it goes ding 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 ding, and, it goes ooh, it makes a bunch of noises, and then it fucking shows you what happens. And Duke Johnson, most of the time, it never works. So just like Duke Johnson, it may not work most of the time, but one time it will work, and maybe in this game against the New England Patriots it could. I don't really believe it that much though, even though Duke Johnson is such a good pass catching back. Bill O'Brien, that dumb motherfucker with that stupid fucking chin, looks so dumb, and he does not understand that Duke Johnson is a good running back. I don't understand it, but at the end of the day, he's a fucking idiot. So Duke Johnson comes in at number 30. Coming in at 31, we have LeSean McCoy going against the Oakland Raiders. I think LeSean McCoy should be getting the play in this game, as well as Darrell Williams. I think Damian Williams should be out. So LeSean McCoy, Darrell Williams would be both guys that you could definitely start against the Oakland Raiders. Coming in at number 32, we have Jalen Samuels. And even if I said I think Benny Snell is going to do pretty good, I still think Jalen Samuels will do well enough, getting a lot of that pass-catching opportunity on the Pittsburgh Steelers to warrant being a guy in the top 32. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, if at any point you ended up chuckling, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. You know I love each and every single one of you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye. My friends, check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. Goodbye.